It's been 50 years since John Carlos and Tommie Smith silently protested at the 1968 Olympics, and now San Jose State has an exhibit for it. Up next on campus, Lindsay Boyd, Update News.
The San Jose City Council is considering changing the schedule of mayoral elections to presidential election years. I'll have that story coming up.
I'm here at the Student Union where students get cafeteria food, but soon we'll have access to actual groceries. I'm Nayeli Lopez. I have that story coming up on Update News.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Lindsay Boyd.
And I'm William Yap. The contentious fight to confirm Brett Kavanaugh to the U.S. Supreme Court ended on Saturday, and many are angry about the result. The anger and worry are also being felt at San Jose State. Elizabeth Rodriguez gives us on-campus reactions.
Despite multiple women coming forward accusing Kavanaugh of sexual assault, the Senate voted Saturday to confirm him to the Supreme Court. Students on campus don't agree with his confirmation.
Well, this angers me because it just happened so quickly. So it's shows how the government literally doesn't care about women at all.
Palo Alto University professor Christine Blasey Ford accused Brett Kavanaugh of sexual assault while both were in high school.
I am here today not because I want to be. I am terrified. I am here because I believe it is my civic duty to tell you what happened to me while Brett Kavanaugh and I were in high school.
Following his confirmation, women were left with an unsettling feeling.
Honestly, it's a little scary just because of how much power he has. And just being a woman, it just scares me.
University officials say that they are aware of these concerns and they are taking steps to ensure that students feel safe. One way to ensure student safety is through Title IX.
What I want students to know, and what the Title IX office wants students to know, is that we're committed to help students succeed, even given the circumstances of having been victimized in sexual assault.
The Title IX office aids students in filing reports about sexual assault, as well as providing emotional and psychological support.
The Supreme Court, which now includes Brett Kavanaugh, is expected to decide on key issues concerning immigration and women's rights. On campus, Elizabeth Rodriguez, Update News. Next week marks 50 years since the historic 1968 Olympics. That was when track star Tommie Smith and John Carlos protested on the world stage. And there's a new exhibit celebrating the anniversary on campus. It's 1968. Lyndon B. Johnson is president and the Black Power movement is building. It sprouted from San Jose State soil to the Mexico City Olympics. 50 years later, the movement is still living and breathing.
We walk by the statues every day of John Carlos and Tommie Smith engaged in their silent protest.
And now the university is celebrating the movement with an exhibit, The Power of Protest.
I think the exhibit was amazing. I mean, it is really from the archives of Dr. Harry Edwards.
The exhibit is fittingly housed in the Martin Luther King Jr. Library. Newspapers, photographs, documents, and letters all line glass casings. They come together to tell the story of racial injustice before, during, and after Smith and Carlos raised fists in protest at the Mexico City Olympics. The curator of the library exhibit, Craig Simpson, said he used many artifacts to tell the story.
In the exhibition, we have over 130 items. I mean, I love what he calls his Jim Brown jacket.
The exhibit brings to life movement in sport, and it displays the backlash the Black Power leaders fought through.
It really takes you on a journey that really shows that arc from 1968, the Olympic Project for Human Rights, John Carlos and Tommie Smith, all the way to Colin Kaepernick, LeBron James, and into the future.
Students agree the movement was significant 50 years ago and is still significant today.
And the fact that they want to represent Black culture in this way is just very moving.
Legacy at San Jose State lives on. The teachings that started in Edwards' classroom led to an entire sports institute that studies the movement. Members of the institute will help celebrate the anniversary of the 1968 Olympics next week, and the legacy at San Jose State lives on.
There's a new food bank on campus, and that means multiple food resources are provided for students. Nayeli Lopez is live on campus with more. Nayeli?
Thanks, William. Food insecurity is increasing among SJSU students. A new resource on campus will provide free groceries and hygiene products, and it's coming soon to campus. More than 500 students lined up alongside the event center on Monday morning to get their hands on free groceries from the Just-in-Time Mobile Food Bank.
Recently, I started going to grocery outlet, but yeah, this is obviously way better. So yeah, I think I really benefited from this.
But soon, this type of free resource will be open on campus all year long in the form of a permanent pantry. The pantry is a product of SJSU Cares, a program on campus that is made up of staff and faculty. They help students who are suffering from issues like food insecurity and homelessness.
In terms of the availability of the resources there, I think that they're going to be every bit as good as the food shelves and just in time. And
SJSU Cares consists of 4 SJSU case managers who focus on work in the Office of Student Affairs, Housing, and Counseling and Psychological Services.
With this pantry, we're actually going to have commercial refrigeration and freezing there, and we'll be able to stock it regularly with fresh produce.
The upcoming pantry will be divided into 5 different zones. The zones include produce, refrigerated items, or the chill zone, multiple-use items, single-use items, and toiletries. With a swipe of a Tower ID card, students can pick items from each zone. Second Harvest Food Bank is a nonprofit that partners with SJSU for food insecurity efforts.
The Just-in-Time program comes through Second Harvest. When we open the permanent food pantry, they're going to be the main contributor to most of the food, but we're also going to be buying some things.
The permanent pantry will be in addition to the long-running monthly pop-up pantries on campus. The new food pantry is going to be located at Student Union North. What currently serves as a faculty lounge will soon turn into a resource for students to get free groceries. Live on campus, Nayeli Lopez, Update News.
People have 10 more days to sign up to register to vote, and students at SJSU are helping each other register. They say they're doing this to increase voter turnout. Voting record. According to Pew Research, only 51% of millennials voted. This is 10% lower than the entire electorate who voted in 2016.
Just helping educate people through things like this tabling, getting people to understand more about some of the issues around getting registered to vote, around voting, around elections and policies.
The deadline to register to vote in California is October 22nd. The general election is November 6th.
A lot goes into preparing for an interview, and a professional look can be difficult to put together. Partnering with JCPenney, the SJSU Career Center put on a style event to get students ready for their future first impressions. Kaylee Lawler has more on this story.
Students waited in line for a chance to receive a free makeover and a headshot worthy of their LinkedIn account. Style for Success by JCPenney gave students an opportunity to receive styling tips for future interviews.
The whole goal is to help students be career ready, especially when it comes to interviewing. We know that it can be very nerve-wracking for anyone, but especially for students who may not have interviewed before.
After their makeover, students got their photos taken to use on their LinkedIn and Handshake accounts.
Here in the Student Union, professionals are here to help you put your best foot forward, especially when it comes to career advice with Career Center, or makeup with Sephora, or styling your hair, even a stylist to get you a new jacket and a new shirt.
While waiting, students took their turns trying their chances to win free coupons for future shopping trips to the Eastridge Mall JCPenney.
If you take the time with your hair and your makeup and what you're wearing, it's really going to say the difference to us as far as you're coming aboard with, our company or any company really.
If students needed help with their resumes, cover letters, or other career advice, staff from the Career Center were there to help students. Manuel says students should keep their eye out for more styling events through the Career Center or stop by the SJSU Career Closet. The closet has professional clothing for students on a tight budget.
Anytime a student gets to interact directly with an employer, that's like a first interview. So we want to make sure that students make the most of that, presenting the best first impression they can.
Students can meet with staff from the Career Center to pick out one free outfit to keep per semester, and Foss says students should make appointments with the Career Center directly to meet and plan out an outfit. On campus, Kaylee Lawler, Update News.
SJSU professor Amy Strage died on September 13th after suffering a stroke. Strage was part of the community for more than 30 years and left an impact on faculty on campus. Alex Martinet has more on this story.
This is Amy Strage giving advice to faculty members at the University of Turku in April. The lifelong educator suddenly passed away after suffering a stroke in September. She was the director of the Center for Faculty Development since 2011. In 2010, Strange was awarded a Distinguished Service Award from SJSU for her 31 years in education reform on campus. As expected, the news was a shock to many faculty members.
I was really surprised because I had talked myself into thinking that she was going to make a recovery, that though she had not regained consciousness, that her body was busy working and that she was going to rejoin us.
Strange offered many programs for current and past faculty, helping them adjust to teaching in collegiate settings like SJSU. She would organize course prep marathons for teachers to get ready for the semester.
I think they'll remember her smile and her guidance, and also being very patient and listening, and through her many years of being here.
She started the Legacy Project, where retired faculty members publish advice as they leave the university. Journalism professor Scott Bosdick says Strange was so focused helping teachers that she never had time to think about retirement.
She helped a lot of people think about, all right, how do you prepare during your working life for the life after work?
Bosdick says that he wishes she had an opportunity to enjoy retirement. Since her passing, a photo of her has been placed at the Day of the Dead exhibit in Martin Luther King Library. Here, people are writing thank you notes to Amy Strange. According to SJSU administration, a funeral will be held in November to allow others on campus to pay respect towards her. On campus, Alex Martinet, Update News.
San Jose City Council has begun discussing a plan to boost voter turnout in the mayoral elections by changing the timing to align with presidential elections. Kunal Mehta is live in the newsroom with more. Kunal?
San Jose Vice Mayor Carrasco proposed switching the timing of the mayoral election to raise voter turnout. Increasing voter turnout should also increase people's trust in local government. In a city with more than 1 million people, less than half of San Jose's registered voters cast a ballot in last year's mayoral election. But 2 years earlier, more than 80% of voters turned out for the presidential election.
So I'm certainly open to that.
The San Jose City Council is discussing a proposal to move the mayoral election to presidential election years to boost voter turnout.
Presidential election years just drives a lot more voter turnout. A lot more people cast ballots in presidential election years than they do in what are called off-cycle elections.
5 city council member seats are still up for election in those off-cycle years, which is causing some concern.
Now, why isn't it important to have people come out in the gubernatorial election? And what happens to the 5 seats at City Hall that have equal weight as the mayor's vote?
This is not a novel proposal, though.
Cities like Sacramento do it, Irvine is another. There's a number of other cities that have mayoral elections and presidential election years. So if San Jose did it, we would not be alone in this. There's certainly other large cities that have done similar things.
The City Council's Rules Committee referred the issue to the city's election commission for further research before going to a full council meeting.
It's also, I think, important to understand to what extent is discussions about, or are discussions about critical issues in the city being drowned out by the rancorous political debate over the presidential campaigns.
The Election Commission is being tasked with researching the impact such change has had in other cities. And since it amends the city's charter, it'll go on the ballot in 2 years and require voter approval before taking effect. Back to you.
Immigrants can face a web of linguistic and cultural barriers when trying to report domestic violence. And some speakers at a domestic violence panel came to campus with resources to help. Mauricio LaPlante has the story.
Start slowly saving.
Professionals in family law and therapy shared the obstacles immigrants face when reporting domestic violence.
So DV is one of those issues that will put you in deportation proceedings.
Ultimately, people need to be willing to trust in order to step forward. And I think that's the challenge that we're facing in the current situation.
Stories of the federal government's family separation and zero tolerance policies dominate national media. leaving county officials like Teresa Castellanos forced to reduce fears immigrants have of the law.
They're hearing the stories, and I think that is preventing people from stepping forward when they need to seek help.
But other barriers are more complex. Some individuals are pushed into enduring abuse. The maze of cultural differences advocates and survivors have to deal with can appear endless.
Who are not then traumatized by the violence.
But the professionals hope they can guide those seeking help with their expertise.
There are all these agencies out in our county that's ready to receive you and to accept you and to help you.
Staff from San Jose State's Gender Equity Center hopes students will come forward to seek help for others or for themselves.
So on here, we're having students write down, actually I can, and then their pledge to what they can do to play a part in ending the cycle of violence.
Students can sign their pledge at more panels happening throughout October. On campus, Mauricio LaPlante, Update News.
University police is close to ending an investigation into a string of false fire alarms. This has caused annoyance for many students and faculty in the past few weeks, and the person responsible for all this could face legal trouble. This ear-shattering noise is what students and faculty in Sweeney Hall heard 4 times in 2 weeks.
I was just doing some work in the College of Education when the loudest possible bang goes off and you hear the alarm going and going. And
Students and faculty calmly exited the building to a safe distance. However, a few didn't move until they were asked to by staff. These students seemed disconnected to what was happening near them because on that day, it was the 3rd fire alarm in 48 hours. Pulling a fire alarm can become a safety hazard because people are leaving in big masses, and the evacuation process may be difficult for people who are disabled. So after seeing that there was no steam and no smoke in the air, UPD began investigating. UPD Administrative Lieutenant Michael Santos says the department conducted surveillance in the areas that the fire alarms were pulled. Santos won't say how the suspect was caught or reveal the person's identity because of privacy.
Pulling a fire alarm and knowing that it's false is a crime. So we were investigating a crime.
Santos is confident that the suspect was responsible for at least 4 of the fire alarms in Sweeney Hall. If UPD files criminal charges against the suspect, they could receive a misdemeanor charge. These false fire alarms also hinder the work of fire officials who have to respond to them.
If an engine and a truck are responding to an alarm at a building, they're not available for that next call that comes in, which may be a block away from their station.
It's midterm season, and Santos says testing is when there's a spike in false fire alarms. However, he says people should still treat all of them seriously. When we come back, Mauricio LaPlante will be here with a look in arts and entertainment. So grab a beer, grab a brat, Oktoberfest is here.
And glass slippers are out and glass pumpkins are in, just in time for holidays. Update News returns in 30 seconds. The Students Club on campus, Active Minds, is empowering students to fight the stigma against mental illness. National Day Without Stigma was celebrated on campus Tuesday. Students joined the fight by making green handprints that symbolize their promise to treat mental illness without judgment. Students pledged to be stigma-free. And now we have Mauricio LaPlante with A&E.
So, Mauricio, all I really know about Oktoberfest is that it's just beer and lederhosen. Is there actually like more to the event?
Oh, well, there's actually a lot of dancing and music as well. October means Fest, the traditional celebration from Germany. The city of Mountain View celebrated with food, beer, dancing, and traditional folk music on Sunday. Guests dressed from head to toe in traditional German clothing. This is the 6th year the city of Mountain View hosts this event.
Second time at Oktoberfest, it's a lot of fun. My mother is German, my father is from Wales, England, so I'm sort of half German, and it's fun to sort of enjoy the culture and have fun.
The Bay Area will continue to celebrate Oktoberfest the rest of the month. The fall season is among us, so you might be looking for that perfect pumpkin to display in your home. Consider getting a handmade glass pumpkin as an alternative to the actual plant. Kelsey Valle has more on the story.
The Bay Area Glass Institute hosted its 4th annual Glass Pumpkin Patch at Santana Row this past weekend. Glossy pumpkins of all colors, sizes, and prices sat on haystacks, waiting to be taken home.
Oh, look at that one!
The pumpkins varied from $25 to $700, depending on their complexity. Artists from all over the West Coast contributed their work to the patch.
This is a great sales venue for glass artists. People love glass pumpkins, and so, putting our work out there for a display, and the public really appreciates it.
There were also live glass blowing demonstrations that amazed audience members of all ages. The process involves sculpting hot molten glass using a blowpipe and quick creativity.
I mean, it's really cool. Art sells. I mean, these little pumpkins are $150 and selling all day long.
The Bay Area Glass Institute is based in San Jose and offers hands-on instruction to all.
San Jose State actually offers glass blowing curriculum, and students here are also making pumpkins, in addition to other sculptures.
There is a beginner's and an advanced glass art course, both of which are open to all majors. The school's Glass Blowing Guild will have their own glass pumpkin patch later this month.
I think I love the challenge, the constant pursuit of knowledge, whether it be in your technique or in learning about how glass is made.
The Bay Area Glass Institute aims to keep spreading appreciation for glass art with fundraisers such as this one. In San Jose, Kelsey Valle, Update News.
2 former recipients of a prestigious SJSU award have just published new works of fiction. The authors read from their new books to a large group Tuesday night inside the university's Steinbeck Center. Reporter Thomas Soares has more on the event.
The Martha Heasley Cox Center for Steinbeck Studies is located on the 5th floor of MLK Library. Once each semester, past Steinbeck Fellows with newly published books perform a live reading. The 2 authors on Tuesday night were Peter Nathaniel Millay, whose new novel is called Son of Amity, and Dallas Woodburn, who just released a short story collection titled Woman Running Late in a Dress.
It's where you actually get to meet with people face to face and read your work out loud. It feels like it brings it to life in a different way, and it feels really exciting just to have these characters in this book out.
Woodburn was a Steinbeck Fellow in 2013. The fellowship offers new writers $15,000 to finish a significant project. Center Director Nicholas Taylor organizes the fellowship and these author readings.
I always love when we invite fellows back after their books are published to share their work with the university community.
Those in attendance are encouraged to buy a signed copy of the author's books. The readings are open to the general public. Most in attendance, if not family and friends of the writers, are usually students or faculty of the English department.
You're not listening to just their fictional stories, you're also listening to their personal story. So there's like a lot of power and genuineness when you listen to someone talk about their work.
The center recently announced its 2018 fellows. 3 of the fellows will be taking part in a reading on November 28th inside of the Steinbeck Center. There will be a Q&A following the reading. On campus, Thomas Soares, Update News.
Well, I mean, it looks like I'm going to be going to the library soon. Those books sound pretty exciting.
Yeah, and those glass pumpkins are so cute.
I know, they're absolutely beautiful, just the way they were crafted. And when we come back, Elizabeth Rodriguez will be here with sports.
A club on campus is packing a punch with some students.
And do you think esports are a sport?
It's definitely a controversial topic.
We will look at the games at San Jose State when we return.
At San Jose State University,
we discover who we want to be. For ourselves,
for our families, for our communities.
Different and unexpected.
Begin here.
At the heart of a transforming valley, in a city that is tough and beautiful.
We are Spartans.
What powers us changes our world.
Now we have Elizabeth Rodriguez with sports.
So Elizabeth, I hear the Spartans get to play in a pro venue this weekend.
Yes, they're getting ready for a big game. A big weekend for San Jose State football as they host Army at Levi Stadium. Spartans are looking forward to their first big win after losing to Colorado State last weekend. Their Army West Point Black Knights are coming off to a win to Buffalo. The Spartans will return to a conference play next weekend against San Diego State. This fall brings a new club sport to San Jose State campus. An unlikely group of student athletes is now joining the ranks of gymnasts, hockey, and water polo. Jonas Elam has more on the new organization.
The competitive gamers of SJSU now have a new club sport, esports, through which they can represent the school against other universities.
We have been given official recognition that we are an esports team, and the team has been given recognition that they're part of San Jose State University.
From 2012 to 2016, SJSU had one of the most dominant esports teams in North America, with no recognition from the university. But recently, other universities have increased support for esports, leaving the Spartans behind.
We wanted to match the programs that are known throughout the entire nation as being just very good, and the college is very supportive of the games and the industry itself.
Esports at SJSU is fielding rosters for League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Overwatch, and Fortnite this semester.
It makes me feel more involved with the school itself through gaming, which is an aspect that I really love, and I get to meet a lot of new people through it as well.
Ma is on the Counter-Strike and Overwatch teams this semester. He was on the Counter-Strike roster that won 3 international titles in 2016 and is excited about being in a club sport.
So we're actually recognized by the school now so that we actually could get funding to go to other tournaments and places.
While regular season games are played remotely, playoffs and major tournaments are played in arenas throughout the country.
Esports at SJSU's first live event will be on November 10th, where the San Jose State Overwatch team will be heading to Oracle Arena for the California Cup, an Overwatch competition against every other Overwatch team in the Bay Area. On campus, Jonas Elam, Update News.
Students ease their stress with punches, footwork with SJSU Boxing Club. Some say it even helps with their academic life. Jose Govea has more on the story.
The team starts with a light jog and conditioning to warm their bodies up. Soon enough, consecutive bangs can be heard once stepping into the PAL boxing gym, where the SJSU boxing team trains.
So here it's all up to you and your training and your coach. So everyone's a little more outgoing.
The boxers range from national champion contenders to students who want a challenging workout. A common belief shared by the student athletes is that boxing actually benefits their collegiate work.
I just enjoy it. It's a good workout. It's good. I feel like it improves your mental strength too. So I guess in that way, it could help with engineering because it's like provides you with a good work ethic.
Fighters are trained by multiple coaches here, including Candy Lopez. His deep roots in the sports teaches students how to properly box.
Coach Candy, as the boxers call him, has sharpened his knowledge of the sport throughout 45 years as a coach. He has trained 5 national champions from San Jose and has dedicated his life to the fighters.
My parents were looking for an outlet for me when I was a youngster here in the east side of San Jose, and boxing was natural.
PAL Gym is only a 7-minute drive from campus. The team trains here Tuesdays and Wednesdays evenings at 5:45. They welcome all students who dare to add boxing to their college experience. In San Jose, Jose Francisco Govea, Update News.
And that's all I have for sports. I don't know about you guys, but to relieve stress, I think that's something I would try.
Yeah, and it looks like a great workout. You get a lot of practice in.
I'm sure the boxing club is just going to use me as a punching bag, so I'm not going to step in there.
If we ever go together, just take it easy on me, all right? I'm very uncoordinated.
Sounds good. And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
For all of us here, thank you for joining us, and see you next week.